Welcome to Alaska EdVenture, Lessons from the K-12 Frontier, with your host, Dr. Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. This podcast is your gateway to the heart of Alaska's educational landscape, where each episode features guests sharing their unique perspectives. We are bringing together voices that shape education in the last frontier. Join us as we explore the challenges, triumphs, and innovations in Alaska's K-12 classrooms.
Hello, I'm Dr. Luke Meinert, host of the Alaska EdVenture podcast, and I'm also superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District, and have a unique podcast for you today. Super excited to be at Hunter Elementary School with some students here that have prepared some questions for me, and I have some questions for them, and just such a lovely opportunity to get to showcase the amazing things that are happening at Hunter and interact with our students of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. So I'd like our students to introduce themselves and let you all know what grade they're in, and then we'll hop into some of the questions. So why don't we start over here?
Me?
Yep.
My name is Zeke, and does the superintendent boss everyone around? And why do some schools have behavior ideas? Do you only boss around the school distracted?
All right. Well, we'll get back to those questions in just a second.
I have
Zeke.
three more.
Yep. We'll get to those questions, Zeke. I want everybody to introduce themselves first, okay?
And I watched the Amazing Digital Circus.
All right. How about you? What's your name?
Jennifer.
And what grade are you in, Jennifer?
5th grade.
5th grade. How about over here?
Hi, my name is Roman, and I am in 4th grade.
Excellent. Great to meet you.
Hi, my name's Emma, and I'm in 5th grade.
All right, Emma, good to meet you. Well, thank you for being on the podcast today and sharing your time with me. And not quite yet. I think we're going to start right here with our first question.
Okay.
All right. Loud and clear.
How did you become the boss?
Oh, that's a great question. So I work for the Board of Education here in the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. So I'm about 6 or 7 months into the job as superintendent. Went through a lot of different interviews with the Board of Education. They're my boss. And they eventually selected me as the superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District, which I'm very excited about. Also, leading up to that, I went to school for a really long time. So I was a teacher back in the day, about 20 years ago. And then I've held lots of different other leadership positions in schools. And so that's what has led me to become the superintendent today. So great question. All right, Zeke, you're up.
Okay. Do you put on winter gear on?
That's a great question. I do put winter gear on. So we live in Fairbanks, Alaska. Sometimes we have viewers from outside of Fairbanks. And so it gets really cold in Fairbanks, Alaska sometime. And so it's really important that we wear our winter gear, which includes hats and gloves. I was just reading a news article this morning of a school in the lower 48. And some parents were surprised that they didn't close their school because it was -5 degrees. Can you imagine if we closed our schools at -5, we'd have a lot of school closures. And so that's one thing we know how to do up here in Fairbanks, right, is put on our winter gear and come to school. And you guys have recess down to -20 sometimes, so you're all really tough. All right. I think you're next with your question.
How do you pay the bills? It must cost a lot.
It does cost a lot. So we have 2 primary funding sources. The state of Alaska provides us some funding based on individual students in our school district. We also receive some funding from our borough, which is here locally. And so those are the 2 primary ways that we receive funding. One thing we'll be talking a lot about in the next month is the need for more funding so that we can provide more opportunities for all of you. Things are costing a lot. Costs are going up in the state of Alaska and around the world. And so to continue to provide you with a great education, we need more funding from the state and the local municipality to help you guys out.
Is the school district going to start a program to bring up our math scores, like similar to
what we're doing in walk to read?
Oh, that's an excellent question, and a question that I get from a lot of adults. So for those of you that don't know, currently the school district and schools throughout the state of Alaska are in the process of implementing the Alaska Reads Act, which is a new state statute that has a very fine focus on literacy for our K-3 students. And so we're doing a lot of work around literacy, and one of the intervention strategies we're using in the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District is Walk to Read, like you just mentioned. I do think math may be the next focus at the state level. Certainly, we think math is certainly important here locally. We do great math instruction in our schools. Some schools do have almost walk to math intervention programs going already. And I imagine potentially in the next few years there may be more of a focus at the state level on math. Is that a question for you? Is that something you would like to see as a different way that we do math in our schools?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is math one of your favorite subjects?
Yes.
What do you like about math?
Just challenging.
Challenging? Yeah. Well, that's great. All right. Do you have another question for me?
Why did you want to become a superintendent?
Oh, that's a great question. I wanted to become a superintendent to affect positive change on the schools here in Fairbanks. So I have 2 young children in the schools. My wife is a teacher in the district. I come from a long line of educators back where I grew up. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is public education and making sure that all students, regardless of where they live, where they come from, have the same opportunities that I had growing up and have educational opportunities that they're interested in that can then lead them to success later in life. And so I feel very honored to have the position of superintendent. I work very closely with our Board of Education and then obviously our principals throughout the district. We have amazing principals, amazing teachers, and amazing educators that provide a great education for you guys every day. All right. Can I ask you guys a question? All right. Zeke, what's your favorite thing about school?
Going to PE and recess.
Oh, those were 2 of my favorite subjects in school too. I liked those. What do you like about PE and recess?
At PE, we get to run and we get to do some stations.
Yeah, that's great. Physical activity is super important for our brain development and just making sure we're ready to go in class. You know, the cool thing about recess is we're not out on our digital devices, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with digital devices, but it's nice to be able to interact and play with other students while we're out on recess because we learn so many life skills and things that we can bring back into the classroom. And so I liked hearing about what you like to do in recess. How about over here? Any favorite things in school for either of you?
I have one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I like to learn in the teachers.
What was that?
I like to learn in the teachers.
Okay, yeah. And what are some things that you like to learn about from your teachers?
Math and reading from the
Yeah, that's really good. And as a first grader, I noticed that you were able to read some of these questions, and I just want to say how impressed I am with you. I have a first grade daughter, and she's also learning how to read, and so it's super exciting seeing your skills at work here today. Yeah. Any favorite things for you? I know we talked about math. Is there anything else you really appreciate about your schools?
The nice teachers here.
We have great teachers here in Hunter and throughout the school. And so, yeah, big thank you to our educators in the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District that do a great job with our students every day. Oh, man, I lost track. Whose turn is it to ask the next question? Zeke? Okay, we're back at you.
Okay, and so do you have a substitute? And what do you do when you have nothing to do?
Oh, man.
That's my last question.
I love that question. We'll start with if you have nothing to do, which never happens. I feel like the role of educators, regardless of what you do in the schools, you always have something to do. There's always something more. You know, I go to bed thinking about you guys and the education that we can provide, and I wake up and I get right back on it. But when I do have a little bit of downtime with my family, we really love to ski, downhill ski and Nordic ski. During the summer.
I like to do that too.
You like to do that too?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll see you out at Moose Mountain or Ski Land or Birch Hill. Lots of great ski opportunities. And then in the summer, we like to ride our bikes. We like to swim and just really hang out as a family.
Swim too, but in a hot tub and some pools.
Yeah.
And I like to ride bikes in the street with my mom.
Yeah, that's super fun. So I answered what I don't do or what I do in my free time. What was the other question that you had asked right above that one?
This one?
Yeah. Oh, the substitute. Yeah. So thanks for the help in the audience. So no, like I don't have a substitute for my position. Unfortunately, I should work on that. I think that's a great idea. But yeah, when I'm sick or away, fortunately, I have 2 assistant superintendents that I work very closely with, and they're very skilled. And so if I'm out of the office, they kind of step in and help with my job and then do their job as well. All right. Question?
Why do we have a 5-day school week and a 2-day weekend?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because that's something that adults and school districts throughout the country are starting to take a look at. Historically, it's mostly been where kids come to school 5 days a week and then we have 2 days off. But school districts are looking at alternative school weeks. Some schools have moved to 4-day school weeks with longer days, and then getting 3 days off on the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not something that we're really looking at in the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District now, but we have looked into it from a financial savings point, and that's something that people are interested in is, would you save money if you went to school less days? And there's not a lot of cost savings there for us, and so we know childcare would be a big issue if we didn't go to school 5 days a week. And so it is a kind of a complicated question for us, but we continue to go 5 days a week. And we think that's the best framework for the educational system right now in Fairbanks. Do we have any more questions over here?
Yeah. What happens if you can't read still until 3rd grade?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that leads into what I was talking about with the READS Act. So the new legislation within Alaska has a lot of focus on if you're not showing proficiency or if you can't read at a certain level when you're in 3rd grade. Your parents now have the opportunity to seek what's called retention. And what that means is that if they want you to stay in the 3rd grade for another school year, then they have the opportunity to work with the school on that process and have you repeat 3rd grade.
One more question. How did you become the superintendent?
Yeah, so similar to what I talked about earlier, so I went to school for a really long time, and then I was a teacher earlier on in my career. Some of my fondest moments in education was as a history and government and technology teacher. I worked in a small school down on the Aleutians Islands in Sandpoint, Alaska. And then since that time, I've had a variety of different leadership roles in different school districts. Most recently, then, I moved into an assistant superintendent role with the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District about 3.5 years ago. And then in July, went through a pretty extensive interview process with the Board of Education, and I was selected as the new superintendent and started that job July 1st here in Fairbanks.
Why do you run schools?
I run schools because I'm passionate about education and ensuring that all of you get a very good education. And as I mentioned earlier, I have 2 young children. I want them to receive the very best education. And if I want them to receive the best education, I want you guys to receive it too. And so that's what drives me every day, gets me out of bed, and really excites me about the job that I have. Are there any other questions over here? Yeah. Okay.
Why do we only have 30 minutes of recess?
Can I turn that around on you? Why do you think we only have 30 minutes of recess? Do you guys have any ideas around why it might only be 30 minutes? What do you think?
It's too cold.
It's too cold. That could be a reason. Yeah, much longer than 30 minutes. We get pretty cold out there. That's a great answer. Zeke?
I wish it was 40 minutes because I like playing Fortnite way too much.
It is fun to play lots of different games out at recess. How about you?
Well, I think it do only 30 minutes because we gotta get frostbite.
Oh, frostbite. Yep, back to the cold. We live in definitely a cold environment. Any ideas for you?
I think we only have 30 minutes because if we get it more longer, we would be doing less education.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. So it's this balancing act, right? We all know that recess is really, really important for our students, but all of the other things you learn in our schools are really important as well. And so, unfortunately, there are time limits on the time we get to spend every day. I wish we had more, right? I mean, wouldn't you guys love it if we had like 12 hours a day in school? Then we could fit in a longer recess. But I see some faces down front that might not agree with that statement. But since we have a constrained school day in terms of the hours that we're here, I think 30 minutes is a good amount of time for a recess to ensure that we're covering all of the other amazing content that you guys need to learn. All right. Another question.
If we was 20 hours out in school, it would, as soon as we even told me, it would have been our bedtime.
That's true. It would almost lead right up to your bedtime. And so we want to make sure that you have time with, your friends, your family, and have a good life outside of school as well. So there's definitely that balancing act there.
Why don't we have healthier lunches?
Oh, perfect segue. That's awesome. We were just going to talk about food. So, the lunch program at all of our schools is guided by the National School Lunch Program. And so that's something that at a national level they look at, and they have specific regulations for what's available for our lunches every day. I know locally here too, we have some options in terms of the foods we provide. And there are healthy options almost in every meal that we serve. Unfortunately, a lot of times the healthier options students don't necessarily take advantage of. Sometimes I get to eat with students on a fairly regular basis in cafeterias, and sometimes I see the vegetables and the fruit go in the trash, which always makes me sad because that's one of my favorite parts of the meal. So we want to make sure as we're eating lunch that we're taking on all those healthy foods along with kind of the sweeter stuff that they sometimes provide in our lunches.
I also have another question.
Yeah.
Why don't we eat in the cafeteria?
That's a great question. I'm not sure why you don't eat in the cafeteria here, but your school is kind of unique in that you actually have a big enough cafeteria space that could potentially have students in it. But a lot of our schools don't have a cafeteria, and so they eat in their classrooms. So that's something that you might have to talk to your principal about of why you don't eat in the cafeteria. It could be as simple as we don't have lunch tables in the cafeteria, or it could just be something historically throughout the years Hunter has enjoyed eating their lunches in the classroom and building that community within our classrooms.
My favorite food are cherries.
Is cherries? Oh, I love cherries. I really like the flathead cherries that sometimes come out in the summer and fall. Those are really good. Or the Rainier cherries. Those are tasty. So yeah, some of those healthy foods that we were talking about. So thanks for sharing your one of your favorite foods. How about you? What's one of your favorite foods?
I don't really have
You don't have a favorite food? Okay, yeah. How about you, Zeke?
popcorn.
Oh, I love popcorn. That's a good healthy snack.
But with extra butter.
Yeah, popcorn is healthy. Yeah.
What's on this?
How about you?
What? Popcorn is healthy.
Has good fiber.
Star fruit.
Star fruit. Oh, that's a good one. My next question for you guys is, do you like living in Alaska? And if you do like living in Alaska, what do you like about it?
I like living in Alaska because
Is this Alaska?
I like
Yeah, we're in Alaska. Yeah.
I like the snow.
Love the snow. Well, then you're in the right place because we have
I
a lot
like-
of snow, don't we?
I like Alaska because we can play in the grass and we can play with our dogs that's living.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have really nice seasons. We have a great summer
And
season.
cats outside.
Are you a cat? You like cats?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they're too much fluffy.
yeah. Cats are sometimes fluffy and pretty soft. How about over here?
I don't like Alaska. I like Hawaii.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you like about Hawaii?
Because it is really warm,
Because it's warm. Yeah.
not cold.
Okay.
And my cousin Aiden said he likes Ohio.
Okay.
It must be warm though.
And then do you like Alaska?
Yeah, I like Alaska because we don't get like the bad weather that most like countries and like states get, like say like tornadoes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love Alaska. I feel like we definitely live in the best state in the union, and we're very lucky to live in Alaska. One of the things I love about it is how close we are to nature. We can hop into hiking trails, or we can go hunting, right out our back doors. And so Alaska is definitely a cool place if you like the outdoors. Any other final questions for me?
One question.
Yeah.
Do you like Alaska?
I love Alaska. So when I was finishing college, I had an opportunity as a teacher. Teachers can work most any place in the United States, and I specifically came to Alaska because I love it so much. And that was almost 20 years ago, and I've been here ever since. Even though my parents and my family live far, far away, and they wish that I'd come closer to them, I don't see that happening anytime soon. We definitely love Fairbanks, and we love Alaska.
Why did you want kids?
Why did we want kids? My wife and I always, that's a curveball question. I like it. You're bringing the tough questions. We've always loved kids, my wife and I, and we're just super excited and blessed with the couple kids that we have, and it's so fun seeing them at young ages, just like you guys, and it really helps inform me as the superintendent, hearing about the things that are happening in their school, the things they like that are happening, the things that they would like to change, and getting that student perspective every night around the dinner table is super interesting. So definitely feel very lucky to have a couple young, healthy children that are in the schools. How about one more question if we've got it?
Do you get to retire?
I have one.
I think this might be the last one. Someday I might retire. I don't know. It's funny. People ask me that question sometimes. I feel like I'm still pretty young in my educational career. And, right now I plan to do this for a really long time, hopefully, 20, 30 years more. And so I don't see retirement in my future in the near time. And hopefully we'll be the superintendent for the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District for a very long time. So I'm going to wrap us up there. I loved our conversation. Maybe your principal will let me come back and hang out with you guys some more in the future, because I know we have more questions and there's more things that we could talk about. But I'm going to wrap us up real quick. So this was the Alaska EdVenture podcast, and today I was at Hunter Elementary School. It was such a great conversation with all of you. So thank you so much for being with me today, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Do you want to sit down?
I can say something.
Okay. Oh, we should have had you do a shout out to your mom. That would have been cute.
Thank you for embarking on this Alaska EdVenture with us. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll meet you on the next episode.